Well. Welcome back to the Porter Says podcast, everybody. My name is Heath. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, another episode of Percy Jackson Season 2 aired last night, and of course I'm going to be talking about it. I didn't review episodes 5 and 6, but I figured I'd sum up my thoughts real quick before I get to episode 7, which is titled I Go Down with the Ship. Episode 5, was pretty good. It was a solid episode. It was about them checking to, I think it was like CC's or something. CC's resort. But probably my least favorite of the show or the season so far. Wasn't like super exciting until like towards the end or something. We got to see Percy turn into a guinea pig, which was pretty cool. And that was from the book, which we never saw in the film, obviously. And the sirens were in my opinion, great. I really liked seeing them. And then episode 6, which was Nobody Gets the Fleece, in my opinion, was great. Probably one of the best of this season so far. I really enjoyed that one. All the stuff with Polyphemus and, kind of Percy having to give the fleece to Luke because Annabeth gets hurt. Tyson comes back and fights Polyphemus. It was a whole thing, and it was a really great episode. It was really liked it. So as for episode 7, I Go Down with the Ship. This was another great one. I didn't write a ton of notes down. Just like some highlights from the episode that I kind of want to discuss, because there's probably a lot of videos already talking about the episode in depth. So I'm just going to go through some of my favorite moments. Highlights. Luke and Annabeth's talk. So once Percy and Clarice get onto the ship, they obviously go their separate ways because Clarice is a bit of a hothead and wants to try and go find the fleece, but Percy is more, his priority is Annabeth. So he finds her, she's tied up on a bed after being healed by the fleece, and he has to put on Annabeth's Yankee hat, which turns him invisible, and he kind of stands there for a little bit. Listens to Luke and Annabeth's chat, which was, in my opinion, probably one of my favorite conversations. Like, a little bit rushed, I guess, but not. It was a decent amount where I was like, okay, I get where Luke's coming from. I can see where Annabeth is coming from. Another highlight, seeing Clarice and Percy kind of getting along, and that was kind of towards the end of the episode. It's always nice to see them kind of work together a little bit. Since they generally don't get along, it's great. We get Annabeth, Clarice versus Allison, as well as the rest of, the army who was turned against Camp Half-Blood. Really great fight. Really cool to see Annabeth and Clarice kind of working together, even though Annabeth's still a little bit weakened from last week's episode. It was really cool to see her do her thing with her dagger and not take out, but essentially kind of knock. I think it was Chris. I think his name was Chris, who was a former camper of Camp Half-Blood. I gotta highlight this. Walker Scobell. I am loving his performance this season, especially in the last couple of episodes. He was brilliant. He was great in season 1. They all pretty much were. But for some reason, in this season in particular, there were moments, just with his facial expressions, you could tell how he was feeling. He was feeling anger, sadness, frustration. It was great. In this episode in particular, he is so good because we get a fight between Percy and Luke. Percy finds where the fleece is, has this whole thing where he's listening to Kronos' voice, and he takes the fleece. Luke comes in, starts a fight. Pretty good fight, well choreographed, and at one point, full on, Luke flips Percy over, nearly kind of breaks his hand, it looks like, knocks his sword out of his hand. They both hit the rock and fall onto separate sides of the room. Percy gets the fleece, runs for his life, gets to the elevator, and then as the elevator doors are about to close, Luke stabs Percy. Fucking hell. Because in the trailers, they would show Percy running with the fleece, and you could see his shirt was stained with a little bit of blood and kind of a hole in his shirt. And I was like, okay, so clearly something happens. Either maybe he gets someone uses a dagger against him or anything, or got a little bit of a slice. No, Luke full on, boom, stabs him. He falls onto the floor of the elevator, and he's shaking. You can see, like, that's what I mean. His performance in this scene in particular is so good. So he does that, and then obviously he has the fleece. So I was like, oh, you can put the fleece on. He'll be fine. But it was like it looked like a pretty deep, not deep, but a pretty significant cut. And I was not expecting that. And it's weird to think, like, well, he got stabbed by Luke, but he's gonna get beat up more in the finale. This little stab doesn't seem like much of anything, although it's still pretty brutal for a Disney show. Seeing Blackjack, that was like we saw Blackjack a little bit in the like very first episode of the season, but seeing him kind of like up close and him taking out some of Luke's army on the ship was so good. And then, like I said, Percy's like, you know what, Clarice, this is your quest. You take the fleece back to camp. Like, I was wrong about your prophecy. I used it against you because I was angry. Meanwhile, Tyson and Grover are staying back on the pier after the hippocampi drop all of them off. So they're staying back trying to figure stuff out. Then eventually they actually have to call Sally. Sally Jackson gets the call from them. She comes in the car, picks them up. They're bringing... since, you know, Clarice has taken the fleece back to camp, everybody's like, I'm just like, I get to see Thalia again. And you can just tell the look on Percy's face when he's in the front seat. You can tell he is not looking forward to that. Because he has these dream sequences where he sees Kronos. And it's happened a couple of times where we get a close-up of this hooded figure and it actually has it's Thalia's face. So he's kind of, you can tell that he's a bit worried of what's going to happen. I guess that's all I wanted to kind of highlight. It was a really, really good episode. I cannot wait for the finale, and I'm definitely going to be reviewing that. And then, yeah, we have to wait until season 3 of Percy Jackson, which I think they are currently still filming, and I don't think they have long left. That's all I'm going to report in this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.